past. Congresswoman Jackie Speier has solutions, and she writes about this crisis on CNN.com, the opinion page. Congresswoman, it's so great to have you on. This is an issue that I feel very strongly about as well. And, you know, a lot of these victims who do come forward, they're ridiculed, they're threatened by their commanders. Many of the men in the military say, see, this is why we don't need women in the military, so they're scared to come forward. In your op-ed piece, you actually focus on one egregious case. Tell me how our military failed Army Specialist Andrea Nutzling.
You know, Andrea was actually an MP, and she was sexually assaulted. She reported it to her commander. The commander chose to not do anything about it, so she got the message. Just suck it up. And so she then subsequently was sexually assaulted again, did not report it. The third time, she was raped. And at first she did not, but then when one of her colleagues told her that there was a video of the rape that was being spread around, she then reported it. And what happened was a crime in and of itself. Because the two that committed the crime, who admitted to raping her, were about to be removed from the war zone, the two commanders got together and said, you know, this would forestall any ability for the unit to move and leave the war zone, so we're just not going to do anything about it. And under the system, that's legal.
Well, that's what I want to ask you about, is that I have some really great sources within the VA, and they deal with women and men, by the way, that have been raped. And what is so astounding to me is how most of these cases never even reach the prosecution level. Why is that?
Well, first of all, there's 19,000 sexual assaults or rapes a year. Those are by DOD's own statistics. Only 13% report. And of that 13%, 90% of those victims who reported are involuntarily honorably discharged. So there's a real sense that if you report it, if you want a career in the military, you're going to be discharged. Furthermore, because the power is all within the commander, your unit commander, who is judge and jury, makes the decision whether to prosecute, not prosecute, provide what is called non-judicial penalties, believe it or not. So you rape someone and you can be given, 5 days on base. And that's your, quote, penalty for having done such a violent act against another human being. And you're right, men and women in the military are being raped. In fact, because there's so many more men in the military than women, there's 6,000 rapes of men a year. So it crosses genders, and it is a system that is wrought with conflict of interest, and it's an issue that the Congress has known about for almost a quarter of a century, and we're great at holding hearings and asking for task forces and reports, and then we create certain agencies within the Department of Defense that really have no authority and think that we somehow fix the problem.
So let me ask you about that, because you say that DOD cannot investigate itself, especially when it comes down to this, and there's got to be a new Office of Oversight and Response. Tell me what you're doing right now, and do you have hope that an outside organization will be brought in to investigate these cases and that DOD will not do it within?
So I've introduced H.R. 3435, which is a bill that makes the whole function of reporting rape something that's done outside of the commanding unit. So someone's raped, they go to this new office that's created that will have the authority to investigate, to prosecute, and to provide services to the victim. And so then you don't have the conflict of interest that's inherent in a system where the unit commander is concerned about his unit, how it's going to reflect on him or her if he's got a rape going on within his unit. So by taking it out of the chain of command, we then have an outside source that's doing, but still within the military.
Congresswoman, we will definitely follow your efforts, and we're working on an in-depth piece as well on this, and we appreciate your support. Thanks so much, Congresswoman. And you can see the full piece that she wrote about the